Charlie, Charlie Kirky. I spot the perky. Charlie, Charlie Kirky. Charlie, Charlie Kirky.
Hobby husband is the winner. Nice.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
Dorfy Doodle is too slow.
It's late again, we're lying back to back. Your phone lights up, you don't react to that. You say I'm fine like it's a fact, but I feel the distance and gaps. I don't need perfect, I just need you. Tell me there's still something I can do. If you're already halfway So baby, pull me closer, so I know that it's not over. Don't turn your back now, don't put this on your shoulders. If your heart's still here, just show me. Don't let go like you don't know me. I'm scared you want it this way. Do you have anything to say? You say you're tired, I'll say me too. But I'm tired of feeling alone with you. I don't need forever tonight. I just need a reason to fight. If you still feel it, don't hide. I can take the truth if you try, but don't leave me guessing in the dark. That's the part that breaks my heart. So baby, pull me closer, so I know that it's not over. I'm hanging on to what you gave, even though the silence fills this place. If your heart's still here, just show me. Don't let go like you don't know me. I'm scared you want it this way. Do you have anything to say? If you love me, then don't let go. Say the words I need to know. We've been lost, but we can find a way to leave the past behind. So baby, call me closer, so I know that it's not over. I'm hanging on to what you gave, even though the silence fills this place. Your heart's still here, just show me. Don't let go like you don't know me. I'm scared you want it this way. Do you have anything to say?
I'm trying to pause it. It's not working. You deck not having it today. There's the button. There's one of them. Hi, everybody. It's me, Charlie. Now it wants to work. It was like, you guys can't see it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, hi, everybody. It's me, Charlie, and today is Thursday. Is that the day of the week we're on today? Yes, the calendar says yes. Hi. Congratulations, Hobby, on getting first. Sorry for Dorothy for being too slow. Hi, Blue, and hi, Maddie. Welcome, everybody. Welcome in. This patch of hair will not pick a side. It is the most Democrat-coded piece of hair, piece of my entire body. It just wants to be a centrist. Hi, Chris. Like, so freaking bad. It's driving me nuts, and I don't have, like, I have fairy ears, but I do not have a clip. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing wonderful. Sorry, my phone's blowing up because we're getting more rain. Hello, not the Democratic senator political voting history. I know it came out. Although, to be fair, I've never actually voted. I voted for Kamala. Okay. I chose to Joe Biden. All right. I had to, though. So I wasn't able to do my first president. My birthday's in December. My birthday's Pearl Harbor Day. I wasn't able to vote in the 2008 election because I wasn't 18 at the time. So it sucked. I was super upset about it. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I probably would have voted John McCain, because I was heavily conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call. My family would like listen to Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck every day. So like that's the vibes. Really glad I'm not there anymore, but I was registered Republican. And my first presidential election that I actually got to vote in was Obama Romney, and I was like, well, I like Obama. He wants to do free healthcare. Like, hell yeah, let's go vote Obama. So I voted Obama. And then the next like real election was Clinton Trump. I just need you guys to know, I was still a registered Republican at the time. I kept my Republican registration to fuck with the Republican primaries. As simple as that. I just wanted to fuck with them. And when I changed my party affiliation...
Welcome to the Vicky and Vance Casino and Museum.
Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. When I Oh my God, the words. When I found out about Bernie Sanders, I really wanted to vote for him, but I found out he was running on the Democratic ticket. And in New Jersey, you have to be registered with a party in order to vote with their primary. Independents, third party, like DSA or even libertarians, they don't run in the primary races at all. They're only on the final ballot, which I think is kind of bullshit. But we'll get into all the different voting styles across America at some point. That is not today's lesson. Okay. Yeah, it's so dumb. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I rolled up to the polling place and I was like, I'd like to cast my vote. And they were like, well, are you a Democrat? And I was like, I'm actually a Republican. And they were like, oh, well, at least New Jersey finally stopped ranking candidates based on their political affiliation. I know. So I changed from Republican to Democrat then just to vote for Bernie Sanders. I was full on Bernie Sanders train. I really liked him. I liked everything that I was seeing on Tumblr. I liked his policies. I liked watching his speeches. I liked his history. I liked that he had always been like advocating for civil rights. Super big fan of Bernie Sanders. And then the emails got leaked. What emails, Charlie? The Debbie Weiserman Schultz DNC Hillary Clinton emails, which specifically outlined their strategy to undermine Bernie Sanders, including specific strategies such as even though he had the higher percentage point in the media package, he was down lower on the list, meaning that guys, because it's basic psychology, go to the top of the list and think that, oh, Hillary's winning, even though she actually had less percentage points in a lot of the polls, like 4 votes and things like that.
I drink and I know things.
Your underscore
caught me, Blue.
Blue 69 would like you to drink something.
Okay. Drunk. So I saw those emails come out and I was like furious. I was telling everybody I could. I was literally like, please do not vote for Hillary Clinton in the even to my own grandparents. I was like, do not vote for Hillary Clinton. They're like, well, she's a woman. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, do not vote for her because it will go to Trump. People do not like Hillary Clinton. This is me in 2016. I was like 25 years old and I'm begging people to listen to me and it was not working. And so election day rolls around of 2016. Trump wins. My grandmother turns to me and said, I should have voted for Bernie. I said, bitch, yes, you should have. I said, bitch, yes. The fuck? You don't think I pay attention to shit? That's the problem with old people sometimes. They just don't think that, like, we're educated. They think they know everything. And it's like, you are unevolving. Anyway, the reason I bring up those leaks, though, and give you that anecdote, a little footnote, is that I received some stuff. And it's all out now. Like, everybody's looking at it now, so it's whatever. But the autopsy for the DNC 2024 presidential election is out. Now, I've had little bits spoiled for me. I was gonna kind of go in blind, but also please understand that I can't read. I'm illiterate. So, I know that it's basically going to be like just corporate bullshit. But our job is to read between these lines. Like, that is what we're gonna do here. We are understanding that this is propaganda at the corporation level, because what is the DNC? It's, at the end of the day, it's just a money-making machine. So it's another capitalist outlet. So we're going to look between some of these lines. We're going to read between the FAPAC lines, okay? Because a lot of this isn't going to be lawyer speak either. It is just like counseling firms, consultant firms, and polling and stuff like that. Oh, God, it's so tiny. She? Oh, well, now I definitely can't read it. How do I make this one go away? Yeah, we're getting there. We're cooking, guys. Do I have music? I already hate it. I've already read 3 words. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just like, no, this is... sorry, I'm skimming it. I'm gonna read. All right, introduction. In every election cycle, the 2 major parties and hundreds of outside groups invest enormous resources and energy trying to define the terrain for voter choice. What happens at the presidential level certainly impacts down ballot contests. Yet candidates across the ballot in both parties will still seek to define choices for their voters in specific elections. 6'7" skibbity for real, for real? Ugh. I changed my mind. Go away, Blue. I hate younger people. Okay, wait, down ballot contest. And yet candidates across the ballot in both parties will seek to define choices for voters in their specific elections. From those choices, the voters decide which choice is most resonant. One party declares itself the winner, and the other party declares that the fight is far from finished. Okay. Thanks, Chat GPT. Effective parties understanding history rarely repeats itself. Did I just read that? Understanding history rarely repeats itself. It does often rhyme. Oh, no, it repeats itself. It's fucking repeating itself. We're in the Gilded Age Part 2. Trumpism boogaloo. Like, I've been saying it since, like, Blue's been here. Blue knows how long I've been saying it. It does often rhyme. Make it a point to study electoral outcomes after each cycle to identify potential improvements to every aspect of their campaigns. Why does this feel like it was written by a machine? Like, I know I'm reading it kind of flat.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.
Fuck you. I know I'm reading it kind of flat. Maybe it's also extra space here. John Adams argued. Sorry, you're fine. You're fine. I should get my spectacles out. John Adams argued liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people who have a right and a desire to know. This desire to know and to understand what is going well and needs to be maintained, along with understanding what is not. Okay, this is so awful. I really do feel like it was written by a computer and not a person. It's just some of these words. The desire to know and to understand what is going well and needs to be maintained, along with understanding what is not working and needs to evolve, is at the heart of any substantive effort to evaluate the relative impact of strategies and tactics tied to specific election cycles and specific candidate matchups in order to generate insights about what happened. Okay, I think one, that's a run-on sentence, like 100%. And two, I feel like I understand why I think it's AI. It reads like corporate speak. Like, if you ever worked retail, right? And you like, you're sitting down and you're reading like the employee handbook, or you're listening to like a training video, and it's like this kind of like generic, kind of like empty wording. Like, there's no like feeling or vibe. It's just like consulting docs always feel like AI, right? Like, it feels very like customer service coded. No, I don't know what the right word is. It feels like Best Buy terms and condition services. But they're meant to be objective, no emotion. No, I understand that. I feel like it just reads that way. And through review can provide a blueprint for future campaigns, establishing a series of lessons learned to drive continuous improvements for future efforts. In this regard, the 2024 election was no different than any other. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. There were many dramatic moments framing the narrative of the national campaign. Thousands of candidates seeking support from voters. What? Wait, are they talking like as the whole? I guess as the whole. 2024? 2024? You mean the election Trump needed to win to stay out of jail? Yeah, exactly. The election he was campaigning for since 2020? Yeah, exactly. I don't understand how this was, no different than fucking, Carter v. Reagan, or, like, what I'm trying to think, like, Truman v. Who, I don't know who Truman ran against. Dewey? When did Dewey run? And he was campaigning for 2016 since 2012. We have the fucking playbook. No, exactly. 100%. Campaign for 4 years to win. It's not just campaign for 4 years too, but it's to take over the media for that entire time, so that is what is all like front and foremost. All right. There were many dramatic moments that shaped the narrative national campaigns, thousands of candidates seeking support from voters, and billions of dollars spent across the ballot and throughout the electoral ecosystem to advance particular interests. He only really lost 2020 because he fucked up COVID. Yeah. Yeah. I was so relieved when he did, though. God. I was like, everyone was, though. Like, you would you walk down the street, you would honk. Like, everyone was just so jovial. Is that a word? There are many books already written and many more to come presenting analysis of what happened for both sides and efficiency of the strategies, advanced decisions made, and actions taken during the presidential campaign. These analyses, in order to present a thorough picture of the will of the people and the choice they made, must extend beyond the presidential campaign to include strategies, decisions, and actions taken by other federal, state, and local candidates on the ballot nationwide to examine why so many were able to succeed where others came short. Wait a minute. That's a whole sentence. This is written like Donald Trump tweets. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to do this in one breath without pausing. These analyses, in order to present a thorough picture of the will of the people and the choices they made, must extend beyond the presidential campaign to include these strategies, decisions, and actions taken by other federal, state, and local candidates on the ballot nationwide to examine why so many were able to succeed where others came up short. That is a run-on sentence, okay? I should not have to breathe like that in order to complete a sentence. You should be able to read and speak a sentence in a small breath, okay? Understanding that little d, democracy, is the will of the people, and big D was my nickname in high school. Democracy represents the systems and structures in place to advance or inhibit the will of the people. There must also be a review and analysis of the systematic structural issues, some going back more. Yeah, it was a run-on sentence, or little d, or big D. More than some decades, which I'm stuck on the big D. Big D name change on Twitch when it's censored. Twitch, yeah, it didn't even pop up for me. I didn't even see it. Unless Blue clicked it that fast. Unfortunate reductions in this is so okay, hold on. I don't know if I can read any more of this introduction. Why now? Okay. Hold on. I gotta go back to the table of contents. I'm sorry, everybody. This is how I'm gonna read this. It didn't censor it for me. It didn't censor it for me either. All right. What happened? I think we'll go down to that. I don't think we need to read about the electoral landscape. Maybe we'll skim that. Executive summary. I feel like that's the introduction as well. I'm hungry, and I know the pasta and meatballs is ready. I'm just... Electoral landscape. While combating an increasingly autocratic and authoritarian government lies at the forefront of the Democratic agenda, our Democratic Party must also develop a plan to carry itself and America beyond 2028. This is essential. Wait. It is essential the Democratic Party develop, organize, and implement a 10-year strategic plan to align the infrastructure, partnerships, and people we need to win. I mean, with Cory Booker's track record currently, I don't think that's such a good idea. Oh, he's 3 for 3. 3 people he has refused to endorse have all won their elections. Barack Obama, Zohran Mamdani, and Mr. Rabb that just won PA yesterday, his primary. Also, Graham Plattner won their primary by default because Janet Mills dropped out. So, let's go socialism, taking over one state at a time. And we're seeing big wins because people are mad. Best advice I could give to any of the other countries listening, start organizing now. Get out there, get your asses in gear, start making groups, start making non-political groups, okay? Make a gaming group. Go start a book club. Sneak in casual.
Welcome to the Vicky and Vance Casino and Museum.
Casual conversation. Hi, welcome in. Oh my God. Like, yeah, just like make like a thing and then just be like, wow, aren't these tariffs frustrating? Wow. Doesn't the price of gas suck? And you know how quick that will turn into a political conversation, especially if you just go, ugh, I don't want to talk about politics, but it always works. Maybe it's just me because I'm cute, but like I always just slide right into it. Like my name was Big D in high school. Where was I? Democrats need a new forward-thinking electoral strategy focusing on more than who or what is on the ballot and addressing how Democrats can reconnect with Americans at every level across the country. Looking forward, the electoral strategy focusing on more than who or what is on the ballot. And addressing how Democrats can reconnect with Americans at every level across the country. We must organize everywhere to win everywhere. Winning winning everywhere. I feel like they should have put this in like if this is referencing this, I feel like it should have been like quotes or something. Like just something to kind of like set it aside because otherwise this like capital A over here doesn't feel natural or correct. Not that I'm an English teacher. Just read. Means providing a renewed focus on the voters of the Middle America and South, who have come to believe that they are not included in the democratic vision of the stronger, more dynamic America for everyone. Millions of Americans are suffering from poor access to healthcare, manufacturing job loss, and a failing infrastructure, yet continue to be persuaded to vote against their best interests because they do not see themselves reflected in the America of the Democratic Party. Do they think that's the only reason? I mean, of course they think that's the only reason. So that's why they put it in here. But like, we know it's not. Right, guys? Like, we're aware that like that is not the only reason. We can do this because we've done it before. You know what else? Okay, I don't want to be that girl. But you know what else the Democratic Party used to support? You know what? Everybody take a guess. Except for Dorothy, because Dorothy's going to get this right. Dorothy's not allowed to guess. Take a guess. Prior to 1890. Can you guess? Can you guess what side? You're not allowed to guess. You are not allowed to guess. Can you guess what the Democratic Party's biggest stance was? Okay? Just a guess. Just quick guess, please. I beg all of you. I'm going to wait. I won't put the Jeopardy music on, but I will wait. Maybe I should have put the Jeopardy music on. You guys, not a timeline, time span, timer. Okay, Dorothy, you can go ahead, say the answer. I choose the answer. See, no, you have to give me an answer. Like, it's a write-in.
Doodle says, "This is outrageous. How can you do this?"
Listen, you have my permission now. You may give the answer. It's like you raised your hand in class and I'm like, okay, you can tell everybody the answer. It's just like, you're like the Hermione Granger. I'm taking my ball and going home. Dorothy. Don't be a spoiled sport. Give us the answer. Answers. I know Dorothy's typing it. Unless he's actually taking his ball and going home, and then I will be disappointed with with a big D. Okay, disappointed with Big D is a great podcast name. You know what I need for the Discord? I need to make a board that's for like, well, they did hate Chinese immigrants. Okay, so my answer was slavery. The Democratic Party was the pro-slavery party. That is something that I swear to God, my racist ass fucking Republican coded, like, sweaty family love citing that as a source. Oh, Democrats can't be that good. They love slavery. You said late 1800s. I did. I said as of the late 1800s. Yeah, because the Conservative Party was Democrat in the 19th century. Yeah. I specifically said like pre-1980s. At least I think I said pre-1980s, maybe 1970s. I love my sweatshirt because it's like the right weight, but it feels like it holds me back from being animated. Civil War was in the I said before. Prior. Previously. On this installment of. I thought you meant the fuck all period of raw capitalism. We did post Civil War and pre-war. Yeah, that's the Gilded Age. The Democrats were even still kind of. But my point is that the Democratic Party has done slavery. So I think they should
Your
be
underscore pal underscore blue 69 says, previously on Dragon Ball Z.
It says Z? Wait. Does it say it like that in other countries? Like, I mean, like the show title, like when the anime starts, like, it's probably only translated in one, like, English accent, right? Not like to region specific. This is such a dumb question. I can't believe I'm giving out history facts and then immediately being like, do you think they changed the voice for the voice actors for different countries? To say Z instead of Z? And then, oh, gee. Okay. After 1989, after 3 straight presidential, okay. After losing 3 straight presidential campaigns, our party refocused the conversation around policy and the purpose to reclaim the vital center of American discourse. Understanding the center is where most people live. Oh my God. It's just as bad as we thought. What should I name my tiefling character? Give me like 3 descriptions. Or personality, whatever. Just give me 3 words. 3 adjectives. Remember in English class. A brute, okay. Got a brute. Really, really red. Taking Carlock? Cool horns. Male or pronouns? Male, female, non-binary. Not that really names matter, but it helps as a reference point for me. The current placeholder I got is Horny Hornington. Okay, that. Are you going to like date? Are you going for like a polyamory run? Like a date everyone run? Because that is so hard to do. Every time Gail's like, I'm not comfortable with that, I'm like, okay. I don't like that, but I love you, so okay. Horny Hornington. Nah, only Lae'zel. How about like Bartholomew Hornington? The frog woman? The tsundere? I don't know. Bartholomew Hornington doesn't sound like it would fit in that entire space. I don't know what your character limit is. I just think, I guess this isn't technically a pun, but I think Horny Hornington is a little too on the nose. Say yes to the slut. Cornelius Snow. Cornelius Snow is from the Hunger Games. I can't. I can't make them do things that they're not comfortable doing. I'm not that type of person. I play my video games like I live real life. It's so hard. All 1,000 hours of Baldur's Gate is just me suffering. Because I really want to date all of them, but I can't. Although I was really happy to get like their super like the step before romantic level where like you can convince them to do basically whatever you want. I was very happy to get there because I really wanted to be able to save Asterion and I really wanted to be able to save Karlach and I didn't want to kill Gale. There's mods for it. There is a mod for it. I know, but I wanted the achievement. Listen, achievements make my brain go burr sometimes. Okay, that little think. My guardian is gonna be a dwarf. I was speaking of dwarves. I was writing more today. God, this. You know how boring this is that I have to deflect to immediately anything else. I just like. They think people are center, but when I go outside and I talk to people, they are far closer to me on the spectrum than they are to like what the principals landed on for this election. And like a big thing was you know, nobody wanted a fucking down payment for first-time home buyers. Who does that help when nobody can afford to buy a house? Like forget like first-time home buyers, like even people who are like second home time buyers like couldn't do anything. Then like they wanted to do like something for like startup money for small businesses. Great. You want to do small businesses. Here's the problem. Nobody has any fucking money to spend. Like it was just, and then they brought out Liz Cheney, and even when they brought out Liz Cheney, even though I was like on the Kamala train, I was like, I don't know about this. Her dad's a war criminal and profiteer. I don't know. It just turns a political wilderness by supporting candidates, putting people first, prioritizing the economy, and offering America hope. They had to do more than that. It was Ron Brown who understood every corner of America was hurting and proclaimed his tenure would be less about the race and more about the races we win. Did I say Ron Brown? Ron Brown also challenged the Democratic Party to think and be different. He focused on less on pie in the sky narratives and asked the party to get real about politics of success. Sherman Brown was relentless in his party building. Okay. I like a good dick stroke, but come on, bro. Calm down. Testing the state of the party. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get the rise of the Tea Party. Okay, wait, I'm back in. I'm locked in. The 2010 midterms covering with lingering economic stress and resentment towards Wall Street, the rise of the Tea Party, and a metastasizing birtherism results in sweeping losses for Democrats. That's why they lost in 2010. It couldn't have been because they wanted, you know, the Affordable Health Care Act that got passed to go into effect since it was like signed into law in 2010 and wasn't fully finally implemented until 2014. Could it have been the reason? Potentially? The simultaneous divestment in the state Democratic parties at the start of the Obama presidency contributed to the 2010 midterm shellacking. Oh, fun fact, shellac, the chemical, is made from crushed beetles. And also that people used to use it on their hair, and also it's poisonous. Democrats lost 7 seats in the Senate, including President Obama's former Illinois seat, and 63 seats in the House, giving Republicans the majority, 6 governors, and 20 state legislative chambers. Okay, I also need to stress to you guys that this was probably one of the most consequential elections of my lifetime, because this definitively set the steps for where we are today. 100%. The 2010 presidential election. Okay, I know it's corny, but if I know it's lib coded, but if you've ever watched The Office by Aaron Sorkin, that first season covers this election, and it was really good to watch. It was really good at breaking down what I had previously like lived my life knowing. The losses in the states coincided with the decennial census. Oh, because every 10 years. Okay. With the Republicans trifecta in place, Democrats were on the wrong side of severe partisan gerrymandering at the state legislation and federal levels in 2012. Subsequent federal court decisions have enabled and encouraged partisan gerrymandering, stripping even the idea of competitiveness out of the broader electoral civic ecosystem. Ugh. 2010 also saw federal court decisions enabling a tsunami of independence spreading and the easing of restrictions to facilitate the injection of dark money into the political ecosystem. 2010, there were approximately 500 million in outside spending, with super PAC spending 62.6 million. And now that has grown to 4.5 billion in outside funding on federal campaigns in 2024 and 1.4 billion in super PACs. And could you imagine if that was like spread out to school systems? Sorry, I just it's the future, stupid. The sad truth is Democrats have lost ground in every level from inconsistent messaging and improper planning. Yes, finally some truth. Even as their policy, even as the policies the party advances continues to earn voter support at the ballot box. Ballot measures for Medicaid expansion, nonpartisan redistricting, wage increases, family leave, and reproductive freedom have passed in the states where Democrats remain locked out of statewide office. I gave up. Wait. I gotta save up for a new GPU. I need to save up for a computer. So as I need to save up for a lot of things. So as always, reading hobby. So as always, I really only get to lurk and don't really get to be near stream or even be the sound on so I can manage the kids. And the random out of context comments in the chat make my experience Dorothy. Thank you for say yes in the slot. And the context I'll never know. Yeah. Yes, hobby. I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna go grab dinner, and then we're gonna switch to. I'm gonna put Philip DeFranco on. I'm gonna get dinner. Sorry, everybody. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be loud. Oh, I clicked on Mr. Snowflake. My bad. Why did they jump?
Republicans in the South are trying to reinstate Jim Crow. It's been just 3 weeks
Hold on, Phil.
since the Supreme Court effectively gutted what was left of the Voting Rights Act, and Republican lawmakers in numerous states are already working to eliminate black congressional districts. The VRA is a landmark 1965 bill that banned racial discrimination in voting and protected minorities from practices aimed at diluting their votes. And one of the single most important provisions in the law was Section 2, which prohibits gerrymandering that undermines the power of minority voters. So for decades, Section 2 has been used to force states, mostly in the South, to redraw congressional maps that diluted minority voting power in one of two ways. Either splitting them up so they don't have a majority in a single district, or packing them together so they only have the majority in one district when it should be two or more. So for example, Louisiana was forced to redraw its maps a few years back to include a second majority black congressional district because they'd initially just drawn one, despite the fact that black people make up a third of the population. But in the ruling last month on the case Louisiana v. Calais, the Supreme Court argued that by considering race to ensure black voters were equally represented, Louisiana's maps itself amounted to a racial gerrymander. And they issued a sweeping ruling that dramatically limited protections that ensure minority voters can actually have their votes counted. So as a result, Republican-controlled legislatures across the South now have the power to eliminate majority black districts that they were previously forced to draw under Section 2, and oh my God, have they seized that opportunity. Right over in Louisiana, which was the center of this whole dispute, the state Senate's already passed a map that would get rid of the second majority black district, and the bill's advancing through the House ahead of a June 1st deadline. Also, just days after the Supreme Court decision, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis enacted a new map that's already facing a lawsuit from challengers who allege that it erased both black and Latino majority-minority districts. And just a few days after that, Republicans in Tennessee dismantled the only black majority district in the state. Republicans in the the South Carolina House have also passed a plan that would eliminate the only majority black seat in a state where roughly a quarter of the population is black. Mississippi is also especially egregious, right? They have more black residents than any other state in America. We're talking nearly 40% of the population. And their governor has vowed to dismantle the one single black majority district by next year. Also, earlier this month, the Supreme Court allowed Alabama to use a map that would get rid of one of its 2 majority black seats. And then here in my home state of Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp also recently announced that he would be convening a special session of the state legislature to redo electoral maps for 2028 that have the potential to wipe out multiple majority black districts. But you've got to understand 2 things. 1, this is just the beginning. And 2, the impacts here will be absolutely catastrophic. The Congressional Black Caucus estimates that its ranks are going to be reduced by as much as 1/3 due to the ongoing redistricting efforts. And you've got experts saying that we could see the largest ever decline in black representation since the post-Civil War Reconstruction era. For a century after the Civil War, black majority districts were in the single digits or at 0. But after the VRA was passed in
Back. I got spagata. Raining outside again. Like, just like a light drizzle. It's very nice. Sorry.
1965, the number has grown to 63 districts, or around 14% of the House. And of course, beyond that, these efforts are also going to reduce gains made by non-white Congress members more broadly, while also giving Republicans a major upper hand in future elections. I mean, one analysis found that gutting Section 2 could effectively give the Republicans as many as 19 more seats in the House. And in addition to expanding Republican majorities, these efforts will have dramatic impacts on black voters, not just in the South, but nationwide. And while, of course, the direct result of all this is diluting the power of black voters in southern states, dismantling black majority seats, it also means fewer black representatives in office to push for broader policies that impact black Americans. Right, black lawmakers, they've historically led the charge on a number of policies, things like voting rights expansion and criminal justice reform. They've also fought to secure resources to fund infrastructure, healthcare, and other forms of economic development in underserved non-white neighborhoods. So we're talking about deeply rooted structural issues of inequality that go far beyond the ballot box. So it becomes obvious what's happening here. Republicans are trying to take black people's right to vote away. Right? I mean, our memory of Jim Crow has faded into segregated water fountains and people saying the N-word, and I think it's very important and it's worth reviewing what Jim Crow actually was and the Southern autocracy it built. A lot of it is basically indistinguishable from what Republicans are trying to do right at this moment. Jim Crow was a character that was invented in 1828 by a white minstrel who blackened his face with burnt cork, exaggerated a limp that he saw in a black stable hand in Louisville, and shuffled around stages across the country singing a song called Jump Jim Crow. So the point of naming the laws after Jim Crow, a racist caricature, was to make clear to black people where they stood, to make clear that they were bound by the law but not protected by it, and to make clear that the white people who wished to do them harm were protected by the law but not bound by it. And the entire legal architecture of the South for the next century, it's built off of that message. And then the second thing to understand is that for about a decade after the Civil War, the American South was actually the most racially democratic place on earth. Black men, they were voting in numbers that in some states wouldn't be reached again for 100 years. Hiram Revels filled the Senate seat once held by Mississippi's last antebellum senator. South Carolina's state House of Representatives had a black majority. 16 black men sat in the United States Congress between 1870 and 1877, and 600 or so served in southern state legislatures. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments had been ratified in rapid succession, and the federal government, fresh off a war that it had won, was for a brief window willing to enforce them. From 1866 to 1872, the federal government waged what was, until the FBI's anti-Klan work in the 1960s, the most successful counterterrorism campaign in American history, and the target was the original Ku Klux Klan. The Enforcement Acts of 1870 and 1871, the third of which is literally called the Ku Klux Klan Act, gave the Army and federal marshals the authority to arrest Klansmen, and they used it aggressively. There were thousands of indictments across the South. President Grant was personally committed to this, and he pushed it through over significant political resistance. And by 1872, the first Klan was
I love a history lesson. Thank you so much, Philip.
Effectively destroyed as an organization for the first time in the United States' existence. It seemed like we were trying to take steps to live up to our founding creed. But of course, it's that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But then Northern Progressive Republicans sold out black people in the South in 1876. And so the same institution that had destroyed the first Klan, it was now being used to break strikes and police labor, while the second wave of white supremacist terror and the slow legal architecture of disenfranchisement, it operated without federal interference. Within 10 years, there were no black congressmen. There would not be another black senator from the South until 2013. In Mississippi specifically, black voter registration fell from roughly 90% during Reconstruction to under 6% by 1892. And this project, it ran on 2 tracks, which is kind of how all American projects of distributed destruction tend to run. And so the first track was the integration of state power with private violence. The Ku Klux Klan, the White League, the Red Shirts, and the Knights of the White Camellia were the social infrastructure infrastructure of the post-war South, drawing membership from sheriffs and judges and state legislators. And they killed black voters and the white men who organized with them. They burned churches and schools. They murdered Reconstruction-era politicians in their homes and on the courthouse steps. And in Colfax, Louisiana, on Easter Sunday of 1873, they killed somewhere between 60 and 150 black militiamen who had already surrendered. The Wilmington Massacre of 1898, an actual coup against an elected biracial city government, and the Tulsa Massacre of 1921 were carried out by armed mobs that overlapped almost entirely.
I cannot tell you how fucking thankful I am that Philip DeFranco is talking about this shit. I cannot tell you, because I feel like Philip DeFranco a year ago would not be talking about this. Oh my God.
The local political establishment. The state never needed to commit the violence itself. The state only needed to make sure that the violence was never prosecuted. And it may come as a shock to you, but local prosecutors elected by white people only would not prosecute white on black violence as a matter of policy. Now, the federal government, they prosecuted some of this for the few years that the Enforcement Act actually gave U.S. attorneys real teeth before the Supreme Court took those teeth out in United States v. Cruikshank, ruling there that the 14th Amendment didn't reach private acts of racial violence, only state ones. And then the second track was the law. The law had to look like it wasn't doing what it was doing because the 15th Amendment said that you couldn't disenfranchise a man on the basis of his race. So the trick was to disenfranchise him on the basis of something else that just so happened to track his race pretty much exactly. And so they got creative. There was the grandfather clause, which exempted you from literacy and property requirements if your grandfather had been eligible to vote before 1867, that is to say, before the 15th Amendment. So with most black men's grandfathers at the time having been enslaved, of the more than 55,000 black Oklahomans living in the state in 1900, 57 had a grandfather who would have qualified. And then when the Supreme Court finally struck that clause down in 1915, Oklahoma, they just held a special session of the legislature and rewrote the law. So anyone already registered as a 1914, they were registered for life, and black voters, they were given a single 12-day window in the spring of 1916 to register or just be disenfranchised forever. And that law stood until 1939. There was also the poll tax, which had to be paid in cash usually months before an election, and in some states, cumulatively, meaning that if you hadn't paid in 1898, 1899, 1900, you owed all 3 years worth to vote in 1901. There was also the good character requirement, in which the white registrar looked at you and decided whether your character was good. Louisiana also specifically disqualified anyone living in a common law marriage or anyone with an illegitimate child, both determined at the registrar's discretion. There was also the understanding clause, which required you to interpret.
To be fair, my squeak was at the meme. I just need to clarify that.
A passage of the state constitution to the registrar's satisfaction with no published standard for what satisfaction was. There was also the requirement in some Louisiana parishes that you produce 2 already registered voters who would personally vouch for you at a parish where already registered voters were white. So with all this, you saw black voter registration in Louisiana falling from 130,000 to 1,300 in a matter of a few years, right? And then there were the literacy tests. In Louisiana, in 1964, applicants were given 30 questions to answer in 10 minutes, and a single wrong answer was failure. Just to give you an example, one of the questions read in full, and I'll even put it on screen for you, spell backwards, comma, forwards, and a registrar could fail you for spelling backwards with a comma or for spelling it without a comma. Meanwhile, white men, when taking the same test when they were given it at all, had their answers accepted on the loose end of any plausible interpretation. So these tests weren't tests that you could study for and pass. These are what I would call kangaroo court tests, where the results kind of already decided based on the color of your skin. And it's all just crazy. When the South Carolina's Attorney General appeared before the Supreme Court in 1966 to defend these mechanisms, he read aloud one of the questions that his state had asked of would-be voters. It was, who was the president of the Constitutional Convention? What kind of suit was he wearing? In Mississippi and Georgia, black voters would be asked how many bubbles were in a bar of soap, how many kernels of corn were in a jar, how many seeds were in a watermelon. And then after all of this, after the grandfather clauses and the poll taxes and the literacy tests and the registrars, there was the white primary, which made the entire question of registration almost beside the point. The post-Reconstruction South was a one-party reach, and whoever won the Democratic primary won November automatically, and the Democratic Party, as a private organization, was free to set its own membership rules. And it had one rule, and it was that you had to be white. So a black man in Alabama or Texas or Georgia who had somehow paid the poll tax at the time and passed the literacy test and convinced the registrar of their good character, they'd arrive at the November polls to vote in an election whose outcome had already been decided months earlier in a primary that he wasn't allowed to enter. The Supreme Court did not strike this down until 1944, and Texas spent the rest of the decade trying various workarounds before finally giving up. And all of this, it's why the decision last month in Louisiana v. Calais, it is so ridiculous. If you knew nothing about history and you looked at Jim Crow laws in a vacuum, right, just on the surface level, on their face, you could say maybe they're not racially discriminatory. But for Justice Alito to say that state legislatures have to explicitly admit that they are discriminating against against black voters in order for a gerrymander to be racially discriminatory is ridiculous. It completely ignores the history of the South and actual material reality, because whether you're drowning out black voters as a partisan or a racist, the effect is still the same. Jim Crow and the Southern autocracy operated inside of the formal architecture of the American constitutional democracy the entire time. There were elections, there were two parties on the ballot, technically. From the outside and often from the inside, it looked like democracy, but it really wasn't. It was a sustained authoritarian regime that had figured out how to operate inside of the legal shell of a republic. In 2013, the same Supreme Court that—
This is so freaking good. Like, not the spaghetti. What Phil is saying, because this is the fastest history lesson I couldn't give you. Like, this is the cliff notes. Like, this is so good because it shows the struggle that every single person who, like, every minority in this country has had to face over the last 250 years, and how important it is to understand, like, legal paperwork, because, like, reading between those lines and finding those loopholes, that was what they were good at. They were good at coming up with ways to write the law so it was even harder to find loopholes. So that's, like, it's really important to read legal paperwork. I can't stress that enough.
That had spent half a century enforcing the Voting Rights Act decided to just rip it up under the intentionally ignorant belief that it had done its job. Shelby County v. Holder was a 5-4 decision written by Chief Justice John Roberts, and the argument was that the South had changed enough since 1965 that the pre-clearance regime, with its coverage formula targeting the Confederacy, was no longer a defensible use of federal power. Right? And pre-clearance meant that if a state wanted to change who could vote, how they voted, or where they voted, they had to run it past the federal government first. This was instituted because the VRA had to kill the Jim Crow Hydra. The federal courts had spent the previous half-century chopping at one head of a Hydra at a time, and every time one form of voting discrimination was identified and prohibited, another sprang up in its place. And the effect was immediate. Black voter registration in Mississippi went from about 6% in 1964 to about 60% by 1968. Black candidates, they began winning local offices across the South for the first time since the 1870s, but then John Roberts decided that things were different now. And actually, within 24 hours of the decision, you had Texas announcing it would implement a new voter ID law that had been blocked under pre-clearance. Within months, North Carolina passed an omnibus voting bill that a federal court later ruled had been written in the court's exact words with, quote, almost surgical precision to disenfranchise black voters. In the past 10 years, southern states have closed over 1,000 polling places, purged millions of voters from the rolls, tightened signature matching and witness requirements for absentee ballots, and redrawn their districts in ways that, on any reasonable read of historical record, did exactly what pre-clearance had been designed to prevent. They are bringing back Jim Crow. You can call it Trump Crow. And now they're trying to reconstruct the southern autocracy and the one-party state that existed for most of this country's existence. And I know all of this, it's not exactly inspiring, but I think that everyone should also understand how politics works in a one-party authoritarian state like the American southern autocracy while you still have time to stop it. Or the thing about autocracies operating inside of a constitutional system is that it still holds elections, it still passes budgets, and it still produces idealistic young people who want to do good in the world and find out very quickly what doing good is actually going to cost them, and then life still goes on. Right now, we get to be kind of picky about who we align ourselves with and who we denounce and exile from our coalition, but if we do not win, and when I say we, I do not mean the Democratic Party, though many are using the Democratic Party as a vehicle. It's just really anyone who would not consider themselves a Trumplican. If we do not win in November and in 2028, exercising such a luxury is basically committing suicide because the political math is going to be so radically different. What is a red line today, that becomes a bargaining chip tomorrow if we do not win. National opposition parties and one-party states, they have to reshape themselves in order to survive, and ultimately they become complicit in the oppression that they want to stop. The Southern Democratic Party was the only party that Northern liberals could operate inside of if they wanted any federal power at all, and it produced hideous compromises. The Northern liberals knew that they were hideous, but they made them anyway because there was no other game in town, and the alternative was doing nothing. FDR, arguably the most progressive president we've ever had, was a Democrat, and so was Mr. Segregation Strom Thurmond. And FDR was only able to pass the New Deal reforms because of the Southern segregationist bloc that produced Strom Thurmond. So all the New Deal reforms, the GI Bill, Social Security, the right to a union, federal housing, fair labor standards, you name it, all was passed thanks to Northern liberals teaming up with Southern segregationists to pass it. And guess what? It wasn't because the Southern whites suddenly saw the light. It was because the Northerners agreed to exempt black people from all of the programs. Every program that we now consider to be a monument to American liberalism was built on a foundation that excluded black people because the people in coalition with the liberals would have rather lived in third world poverty than let a black man get the same benefits as them. When the NAACP went to FDR and begged him to break the Southern filibuster on the anti-lynching bill, he told them that if he pushed through the anti-lynching bill, the Southerners would block every measure that he asked Congress to pass in order to beat the Nazis and keep the country from falling apart. So he said he could not take the risk. And that's why you have historians saying that he wasn't wrong on the math. It wasn't that he lacked courage. It was just that the math was the math. Because what you get in opposition is the ability to shape policy on things that the ruling party has decided not to police. For FDR and the Northern Liberals, there was labor and social reforms. But what you don't get is the ability to contest the ruling order on the things that the ruling party has placed off of the table, and that was Jim Crow. And the price of these bargains is always paid for by the people who the ruling order has excluded from the bargain entirely. And if we slide into the version of America that I think that we are sliding into, an America that is unfortunately very familiar, then Democrats are going to face the very same math as FDR and the Northern Liberals. They will exist in a world where they have to make the same compromises in order to survive. They'll have to become an opposition that cannot afford its conscience, and they'll have to learn to ration it. So that is why we have to win. Everything depends on us winning. And with all this, I think perhaps I should end this, hopefully, and tell you that things will sort themselves
You're
out.
not
because
going
the right
to.
thing always seems to eventually win in America. And that may be largely true, again, asterisk, but millions lived and died over the course of 200 years and never saw a lick of freedom outside of like 10 years after the Civil War. As MLK said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. But also, do you think someone would have been comforted sitting in Mississippi in 1910 by the knowledge that their grandchildren would one day vote? This sucks to hear. Like, I know living in a developing autocracy is not exactly a bucket list activity, but the only way out is to fight through it. Progress is never linear, and the only way that things get better is if you do something to make things better. And then there's more we're gonna dive into in just a minute.
He's 100% correct, but it's so hard to get people to get their heads out of the sand, and it's so frustrating. I was talking to somebody about the DSA earlier today, and I'm annoyed. It was so easy to find candidates to put up. You find someone in the DSA, and just sit them there. Just bloop, bloop, just the warm body with a DSA card. Just put them right there. Run their policies on like a banner or whatever. Have them say some words into a camera. But I'm telling you, they would beat Cory Booker. Everyone hates Cory Booker. I don't know a single person from New Jersey who likes him. I don't. I really don't. Do you guys want to see how much money he made from AIPAC? Because I was doing this earlier today. I had to put a rundown of every district in New Jersey, and I really wanted to. That's not how I spelled new. Cory Booker. $846,471 from Israel. On top of that, he has personally said that he texts the head of AIPAC back and forth like teenagers. Andy Kim, also a senator up north, also a Democrat, also pro-LGBTQ. What's so weird is that neither of these two were at No King's Day. And No King's Day was primarily focused on taking shots at the war in Iran and just being like, we don't approve of this. Up north, Andy Kim lives in my county. Yeah, that's true. He does live down here. It's more north than me. But, taking it back. I'm taking it back. They were not at No King's Day. No King's Day's main message was anti-Iran war. And guess who wants Iran to be in war with them? Is it Israel? Yes. Look who got money from Israel and wasn't at No King's Day. Isn't that so weird? Isn't that just, I don't know. And it's not like any other person from AIPAC also went to any of those No King's Day. So I'm sure it's not a coincidence, right? I'm sure it is a coincidence. Like, whoopsie. Who else? Somebody in here had like $1 million. Here we go. Josh Gottheimer. $2,62,601. Like, this is what we're dealing with. And these people are like mostly uncontested. This one right here, uncontested. Oof.
But first, let me thank a sponsor.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. If you say, fuck Israel clock, okay, to a normie right now, you are getting their vote. Why were we not putting candidates up? Why were we not picking candidates? Like, why were we just... Okay, here's my fucking problem with politics in America. No one wants to step the fuck up, okay? No one wants to. Everybody's waiting for everybody else to jump. And it's like, no, you need to fucking jump, okay? We can't be sitting here on this fucking cliff anymore. Like, get in line and jump. Like, right now. Like, why are we waiting for somebody? And the Democrats did that too. Like, when the DNC was going on, and they were complaining that young people don't want to come out to them. And it's like, well, you're not coming to them. You're not giving them a reason. What the fuck? You just think they're going to show up? You have to give them a reason. Like, what the
You ever start playing just one quick game and suddenly it's 2 hours later and you're fully invested in fictional politics? Because yeah, this game can do that. And honestly, it's just nice to have something that takes me away from the chaos of the real world. And it's today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. And also, I get why people get hooked. The graphics are wild, like console level detail, but you can also play it on your phone or PC.
I have to be 100% honest. I do enjoy a good fantasy realm, but I was not expecting Raid Shadow Legends at all. I think I'll know I made it as a content creator when Raid Shadow Legends sponsors me. I think that's the bar.
Hey, download Raid using my link or scan that QR code and instantly unlock a huge starter pack with the legendary support champion Narma the Return. And you hit level 15 and get another amazing epic, Drake from the Lizardman faction. Plus, you can choose 1 of 5 promo codes for a free.
His name is Drake and he's a Lizardman?
I recommend Wrath Grand Oak Podridge because I like support champions who can swing a fight. These champions are available after downloading through my link or QR only within 48
But he's got 4 legs.
But then, as you're hitting that like button to support your favorite daily dive into the news, we gotta jump back into it and talk about how Donald Trump may now have everything that he needs to justify military action against Cuba, at least by
oh no! I don't know if I want to do the rest of Philly D because I'm gonna get upset again.
by his standards. Right, he strangled the economy, but
Preach. It seems like the Dems are very similar to how Labor was here, feeling entitled to certain demographic votes despite drifting so far from actually supporting them and the things they support. Absolutely. That's actually, so whenever someone talks to me about UK politics, when I have like a point of reference, I have heard that Labor is very similar to liberals here, like liberals here or Democrats here. They're absolute trash. They feel entitled, and their biggest strategy here is vote for me, I'm not them. It's never about policy ever, and that's like the easiest thing to get on. You say 2 words to a camera. I have no media training whatsoever, okay? And I could go, I think we should all have Medicare for all, and I think it would be really cool if we overturned Citizens United, and also maybe we should abolish ICE. You know how many fucking votes I would get in a primary for saying that shit? Like, come on, dude. It ain't that fucking hard. Not you.
But failed to bring down the government. He's received new intelligence that could help him argue that the Cuban military poses a threat to American lives. And the former leader of the country, he is now wanted in the U.S. on charges that could land him a death sentence or life in prison. So actually, let's start there, right? Because the Justice Department announced charges against Raul Castro, the 94-year-old former president of Cuba, accusing him of murder and a conspiracy to kill American citizens. And those charges stem from the fatal downing of 2 planes off the coast of his country more than 30 years ago. And those charges have also been brought against 5 fighter pilots involved in the attack on the planes, which were operated by a group called Brothers to the Rescue that offered assistance to fleeing Cuban refugees. In this case, though, then President Fidel Castro.
Is there not like a statute of limitations?
Castro claimed that they've been dropping in.
Okay. This is a great meme picture. This is an absolutely great meme picture.
Regime leaflets over the Capitol, and he also took responsibility for the downing. But this indictment said that his brother Raul, who was Minister of Defense at the time, could also be held responsible because, along with Fidel, he served as one of the final decision makers in the Cuban military chain of command. Right, and with that, I'll say exiled Cuban American lawmakers and
Okay. I just need to say this. What they are doing, like, when like there's like a Greek tragedy and like you're trying to avoid like the outcome of that Greek tragedy, like you're like, oh, my kids are gonna kill me, so I have to eat my kids, and then they can't kill me, and then it's like, oh no, they did the thing that like I that I didn't want them to do. They've killed me. This kind of reminds me of that. Like, it kind of feels like, oh, we'll keep just like calling people criminals and then arresting them and bringing them to our country and overthrowing their governments. And I'm like, the more times we do this, it's just going to happen to us. Like, not to get like philosophical or anything, but it's like we're Kronos and Zeus. Zeus is just hanging out waiting in the caves of Sicily.
activists, as well as survivors of the attack and family
And
members.
like this, like, oh, he's the Department of Defense or whatever for that particular country or whatever that he said he was. Like, just because he was involved with the government now means he's indicted too. So what does that mean for our government? Like, our country's government operates like it's not tit for tat all the time. Like, there is a ripple effect to all things that we do in this world, and like there is always like a pendulum swing, and like it might not happen in Trump's lifetime, but I foresee a Hague.
Victims, they've long called for Raul to be criminally charged. But according to two former federal prosecutors familiar with the case, past administrations lack the political will to file charges against such a high-ranking member of an adversarial government. But momentum, it's been building. Right, last year, one of the pilots named in the indictment, he was found to be living in Florida. He was actually first arrested on charges of immigration fraud after he filed for permanent residency but failed to disclose his 30-year-long service in the Cuban Air Force. Also in February, 4 Republican lawmakers asked the Justice Department to indict Castro, writing in a letter, "We believe unequivocally that Raul Castro is responsible for this heinous crime," and saying it is time for him to be brought to justice.
I feel like almost any time I've heard unequivocally used, it's always been by bad people.
But with all that, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who announced the indictment alongside the U.S. Attorney.
Look at the map. What? It's this is like Baja, and this is supposed to be Florida. This is Virginia. Here's Maine and Nova Scotia. What is happening here?
Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, he had little to say when asked why an indictment in this case had been brought right now. And the question you've got most people asking is whether the administration's real
like
motivation
maps.
is paving the way for a military operation to capture Castro, bring him back to the country to face trial, and pressure the Cuban government into giving into Trump's demands. Or the same way that an indictment against former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro served as justification for an attack that notably killed dozens of Venezuelans as well as Cuban soldiers, with Maduro and his wife now awaiting trial in New York. And actually, with this, an American aircraft carrier, the same one that served as a staging ground for the operation to capture Maduro, it has now arrived back in the Caribbean along with multiple warships. Now, you had one official telling the New York Times that the vessel is really only there as a show of force, but who knows? And Blanche, of course, wouldn't say whether the indictment was meant to lay the groundwork for military action, but he did say that a warrant had been issued for his arrest and that he expected Castro to eventually face trial in the United States.
We expect that he will show up here by his own will or by another way.
Right, when Trump was asked yesterday whether he would take military action against Cuba, he replied,
I don't want to say that.
Though he also said,
There won't be.
Time with him. I don't want to say that, but I'm gonna say it every time. Oh God, I'm like slowly processing why I'm so frustrated with like why they're just not like the government's not doing anything, and I'm just processing that. Part of me is like, God, they just suck. And it's like, I think I'm frustrated because I feel like these are things that I could accomplish, and I am not the most like educated person, and I have no qualifications. I have no qualifications for anything. And I'm like, I could do that. I could absolutely do that. Why are you not doing that? I don't understand. Why are they not doing that? I could do that. I have depression. Like, I don't understand. Like, why? Like, even our elected officials, like, they're just like, Zohran Mamdani, great example. He's passing so much legislation all the time. All the time. He's already fixed the deficit of New York. Like, it's insane. Why can't our politicians do that? Okay? Like, I don't understand. He makes it look so easy. That's how I feel, looking at people that they put up for candidates. I gotta run for office. I can't do this anymore. Balance the budget before Memorial Day. Exactly. Exactly. He was like, a month into his term, and he was like, hey guys, I gotta be honest with you, we got a fucking mess on our hands with this budget. We're gonna have to either do 1, increase property taxes, or 2, tax the rich. Oh buddy, he taxed the rich. That's exactly what he did. He put a tax on like people who own apartment buildings or penthouses or whatever, that it's their second, third, fourth it's not their main property, and it costs more than X amount of dollars. And like, I think the budget was like $12 million is what they needed to make in order to not like default. And I think they're over that now. It hasn't even been a full 6 months. Like, every day Mamdani comes out of his office and something new and good happened. And it's awesome. And why can't other politicians do that? And why are other people elected? What are we, voters? Constituents? Why can't the constituents see that and go, I want that? Well, a big reason is the media coverage. A big reason is the propaganda. But I feel like a lot of us are starting to break through that through various platforms, whether it's Twitch or YouTube or even like other social media websites. So I think like we're getting there and we're starting to like redirect, but like, how do I light a fire under more people's asses? How do I get more people to want to do this? Let's knock on people's doors.
I don't think it needs to be. Look, the place is falling apart.
And actually on that last note, he somewhat accurately, though in his Trump exaggerated manner way, laid out how dire the situation is on the island.
It's a failing nation. You see that? It's falling apart. They have no...
You let them get fucked over and then radicalize them.
Oil, they have no money. It's a failing nation, so I just can't tell you that. But we're there to help.
Everyone's receptive to the message is already receptive to it. Everyone's receptive to the message is already receptive to it.
We're there to help the families, the people.
I have a few other tricks up my
no
sleeve.
Way of living. They have no food. They have no electricity. They have no energy at all. But they do have great people.
But what Trump also didn't mention there is the role that he has had in creating those conditions. Right? He's effectively imposed a blockade to stop
good job,
shipments
Philip.
from reaching the country, pushing the country into an energy and humanitarian crisis. Also, earlier this week, he signed an executive order sanctioning officials in Cuba's energy, defense, financial, and security sectors, along with 3 government agencies. And all of this here, I mean, it also comes along with a decades-long American embargo and other policies that have, at the very least, contributed to poverty, a scarcity of goods, and a lack of economic growth on the island. Though with this, yesterday, which was also the anniversary of the day that the U.S. ended its military occupation of the island in 1902, you had Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a child of Cuban immigrants, delivering a message directly to the Cuban people in Spanish. And he notably denied that the U.S. played any role in the hardships that they have endured.
La verdadera razón por la que no tienen electricidad, combustible ni alimentos es porque
You want to know a fun fact about Marco Rubio? He had one of his ears like worked on like surgically. I think it was this one. And he's really self-conscious about it. And so he always tries to turn his head away from the camera to not bring it into focus. And ever since someone pointed that out to me, I can't stop looking at it. I can't. It just take it back a moment.
Directly to the Cuban people in Spanish. And he notably denied that the U.S. played any role in the hardships that they have endured.
La verdadera razón por la que no tienen electricidad, combustible ni alimentos es porque quienes controlan su país han saqueado miles de millones de dólares. Pero nada ha sido utilizado para ayudar al pueblo.
And he specifically blamed a military-run conglomerate known as Gaesa that's estimated to control between 40% and 70% of the Cuban economy. And to be sure here, many experts agree that this repressive regime's handling of the economy, it's left something to be desired, but many would also reject the idea that the U.S. bears no blame. And so in response, you've seen people like former Obama advisor Ben Rhodes writing on Twitter, Rubio now full Orwellian, the total blockade that we have put on your country after decades of an embargo has nothing to do with the scarcity in your lives or the fact that we are intentionally starving your children. And adding in a follow-up post, also, Rubio works for a guy who has looted far more billions of dollars for himself and his cronies than even the most corrupt Cuban officials. And that's as you also have people saying that the Trump administration is being very hypocritical here, noting that you have the Trump administration indicting Raul Castro for what they argue is defending Cuban airspace, while Trump and Hegseth celebrate the killings of people that have turned out to be innocent fishermen. Right? The Trump administration has killed nearly 200 people in dozens of strikes on boats in international waters, some of whom...
God. I don't want to get black bagged, but I just... Like, what goes around comes around usually in history, okay? That's all I can say.
May have been fishermen, some of whom may have actually been drug dealers, but none of whom had a trial, or which is why you have many experts saying that these strikes are in fact straight up murder. And so you actually had the Cuban government making the same argument in a statement, right? And also the country's UN ambassador is among those claiming that the charges against Castro were part of an effort to create a pretext for military action, and actually also suggesting to the New York Times that shooting down the planes had been justified. But he claimed Brothers to the Rescue had violated Cuban airspace 25 times before the Cuban military took action, and with that saying that Cuban officials had repeatedly pleaded with American authorities to stop the group's flights over Cuba, including with a letter from Fidel Castro to President Bill Clinton, a claim that's apparently supported by declassified U.S. documents from the time. And so you had the ambassador asking, how many deliberate and serious violations of U.S. airspace would any U.S. government allow before taking action? And while he also claimed that Cuba's ready to negotiate with the United States, he said that the government isn't convinced that the Trump administration is...
That's an excellent fucking point. It reminds me of like a toddler throwing a temper tantrum. Like, it just feels like we're gonna just keep punching and punching and punching and not expect a punch back. And we are gonna get punched back so hard. And I think everyone here in America is pretty much on a huge majority of America is pretty much on the same point. Like, yeah, if we got attacked, we deserve it. Like, I don't know many people who would disagree with that statement. Feel free to. I'm not gonna like stop you on that, but I'm just saying Hassan Piker saying America deserved 9/11 has never been more relevant to today's situation. Like,
is acting in good faith, telling the New York Times. Obviously, it does not help a climate of dialogue and trust that every other day there are statements like, we are ready to take over Cuba. Right, at least for right now, it doesn't look like Trump's changing his approach of making maximalist demands. Right, CIA Director John Ratcliffe recently visited Cuba and met with senior officials, including Castro's grandson. And while he reportedly told them that the Trump administration was offering a genuine opportunity for collaboration, he also said that the opportunity was contingent on Cuba severing its ties with Russia, China, and Iran. And that's partly because Russia and China are believed to have high-tech spying facilities on the island. All while you also have Axios recently reporting on U.S. intelligence that Cuba had obtained more than 300 military drones from Russia and Iran since 2023, has stashed them in strategic locations across the island, and is now discussing plans.
that sounds like Israel's playbook. Oh, they're hiding F-150s in the hospital. Oh my god, that apartment complex has a Zeppelin underneath of it. Gotta bomb it.
To attack the American military base at Guantanamo Bay if there is a conflict with the US. And so in the meantime, you have both Russia and China pledging their support for Cuba. A spokesperson for the Kremlin saying today that Russia will provide Cuba with active support in the face of increasing US pressure. And you had a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson saying that the US should stop threatening force at every turn and that his country firmly supports Cuba, and adding, the United States should cease using sanctions and judicial apparatus as tools of coercion against Cuba and refrain from making threats of force at every turn. But yeah, ultimately, all this in addition to the indictment, it is.
So not only are we getting the Gilded Age Part 2 MAGA Boogaloo, that's a working title, but we're also getting the Cuban Missile Crisis Part 2. Oh my god, it's almost Fallout Boogaloo.
Is seen as something that could serve as a pretext for military action, and in fact, that's exactly the argument you had Rubio making to reporters today.
Cuba not only has weapons that they've acquired from Russia and China over the years, but they also host Russia and Chinese.
I can't stop looking at his ears.
In their country, not far from where we're standing right now. So Cuba has always posed a national security threat to the United States. They, by the way, have been one of the leading sponsors of terrorism in the entire region. Cuba's consistently...
They are going to use this same excuse on Mexico. I am calling this right the fuck now. They're going to use it. Mark Carney, you better get some nukes, dude. Bro, anybody who is semi within the hemisphere is gonna get got. I'm telling you. Oh. It's like I can see it, and I hate it.
Posed a threat to the national security of the United States. And the other thing that poses a threat to the national security of the United States is to have a failed state 90 miles from our shores run by friends of our adversaries.
And also,
okay, listen, I hate to be that guy, but what the fuck do we care what other countries do? Is it hurting you? Is it hurting us? They're minding, like, okay, we put a blockade on them. I'm ignoring that part. Let's just say it's like Mexico. Okay, we've exploited so many countries that I can't give a good example. But my point is that if somebody is doing something you don't like, but like, it's not affecting you, then what the fuck ever? What do you have to do with it? Stay the fuck out of it. It's nosy bitch shit.
Ultimately, it does seem like the White House is laying.
Be nosy from a distance. Don't get involved.
Now, whether or not it follows through, that's an open question. But another key thing is that earlier this week, you already had a Politico reporter writing that she's been told by U.S. officials that the administration is growing more open to military action by the day, saying they're frustrated that the pressure campaign hasn't led Cuba's leaders to back down.
I can't imagine there would be any more support. Like, I feel like the approval rating, maybe he's trying to get, like, okay, you know how he likes awards? You know how he likes awards? You think, like, he's trying to get, like a lowest approval score of all time award? Like, or do you think maybe he's, like, his dementia brain is, like, flipping the numbers, and he's like, oh, 51% of Americans, I'm the highest I've ever been. Like, maybe, oh my god, what if he's like, oh, 67% of Americans like me, because he's flipping the numbers in his brain? And so oh my god, wouldn't that be the funniest fucking thing? If the gods are good to me, they will turn me into a fly so I can be in the room where this shit happens. That's
And saying that military planners are weighing options beyond just a snatch and grab of Castro, including everything from a single airstrike meant to scare the regime to a full-on ground invasion. So kind of just add this to the pile of things that we're going to have to watch play out. Though I will say there is a playbook that we've seen before, and so far Trump is following it. Right, but then from that and more news you need to know today, we got a few more things. Like I gotta squeeze in here. Yesterday, ultra-Israeli nationalist and national security minister Ben-Gvir posted a video taunting pro-Palestine activists that were captured by Israeli forces on an aid boat that was headed to Gaza. He captioned the video "Welcome to Israel," and to translate, at one point in it, he said, "We are the landlords." He also said that he wanted to take the activists to terrorist prison, saying that they went there full of pride like big heroes. And this all came after more than 50 aid boats with 430 people from more than 40 countries set sail from Turkey last Thursday as part of the global Samud flotilla, with Israel at the time saying that it was a PR stunt at the service of Hamas. Right, and by Monday morning, Israeli naval officials started intercepting them, and by Tuesday night, every aid boat had been detained, with a group representing the activists saying that they were physically abused and had severe, widespread injuries. There were talks of Israeli forces using tasers and rubber bullets when they intercepted the flotillas. They said dozens of people were suspected of having broken ribs, making it hard for them to breathe, and mentioned degradation, sexual harassment, and humiliation.
But Greta said too.
At least 3 people had to go to the hospital, with Israeli authorities, at least so far, not commenting on these allegations. But now, thanks to this video, Ben-Gvir is getting international blowback from the US, the UK, France, Italy, Canada, and even his own.
Wait. What did Mike Huckabee say? Mike Huckabee is like, he's like top tier Israel fanboy.
International blowback from the US.
Universal outrage and condemnation from every high-ranking U.S. Israeli official. Freudian slip. Israeli officials, from Israeli PM, Israeli blah 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 blah, for despicable actions by Ben-Gvir. Flotilla was stupid stunt, but Ben-Gvir betrayed dignity of his nation.
The UK, France, Italy, Canada, and even his own prime minister, who said that his actions were, quote, not in line with Israel's values. And while those are not the harshest of words from Netanyahu, and there are many who believe that he's not actually bothered by this, the fact that he did not co-sign this does stand out. And while since all this, Israeli officials have started the deportation process to send the activists back out of the country, international government officials, they're still pushing this further, demanding apologies, summoning ambassadors and envoys. And reports are saying that's what really has Netanyahu coming down on his own minister, public opinion, not the behavior itself. They're saying that videos like this tear down the illusion of the Hasbara campaign that Israel has used to justify its policies and military actions against Palestinians. And you've got many saying the Israeli leadership, they're treating this as a public relations crisis. Others wondering what's happening when the cameras.
They've been so focused on, they've been doing things without any punishment for such a long time that now that they're getting caught, they don't know how to react, and they're not changing their actions. It's like, I don't know. I don't even know how to, I don't know an analogy. I'm analogied out right now.
Aren't on if they feel comfortable filming this. Even more, adding that the real issue for Israel here is that it provided the globe with live, irrefutable evidence that a structural violence and a disregard for human rights are foundational to the current Israeli establishment. Also, in other news you should know, back here in the US, airport officials and security contractors just met at TSA headquarters to discuss privatizing airport screening services, or with it reportedly being called TSA Gold Plus, and with it, in addition to federal TSA workers, the government would hire other security agents through contracted security programs as part of a screening partnership program. And that's actually already happening in places like San Francisco, Kansas City, and Atlantic City. But especially after the wait times that we saw with the TSA.
Okay, but the Atlantic City airport only deals with planes that go, it's called the Atlantic City International Airport, but it only goes to Florida. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I wonder where I could fly out of to go X, Y, or Z place. Oh, Atlantic City International Airport. Oh, it only has flights to Florida. I don't get it.
Shortage from the last government shutdown, you now have cities like Atlanta voting to explore this new option as well. Or with some saying that it allows them to consider what it would look like if we could better serve grandmothers standing in line all day long because our federal government can't get its act together to keep our TSA workers employed. And while you have some saying, this looks good to the Trump administration because it saves them about $52 million according to last month's White House budget, you have others saying
sometimes it has flights from Boston, only from Boston, never to.
Some of those savings are because privatization would cut over 4,000 TSA jobs. And with that, you had Everett Kelly, president of the American Federation of Government Employees Union, saying that many TSA agents hold security clearances. But this plan would give, quote, direct operational control of the most sensitive technology in the aviation security enterprise to private vendors. But then there, you have others shooting that concern down, saying that we've been using private companies since 9/11 and that the system has been safe for 25 years, stressing that, quote,
maybe we should just get rid of the system.
Options. However, you have Kelly maintaining the consequences of reverting to a contractor-driven model are not theoretical, saying we lived them before September 2001 and the historical record is unambiguous. And then, finally today, we have to talk about the officers who protected the Capitol from the J6 riots, filing a lawsuit to block the $1.8 billion Trump slush fund, worrying that—
oh, hell yeah. I hope history is as kind to these people as it should be, because there are so many small heroes coming out of this time frame that absolutely deserve their their flowers 100%.
Used to help people who are already sending them death threats. With a lawsuit naming President Trump, Todd Blanche, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as defendants and claiming that the fund was created to finance the insurrectionists and paramilitary groups that commit violence in Trump's name. They also claim that the Trump administration exceeded its statutory authority by creating the fund without authorization from Congress. With Daniel Hodges and Harry Dunn being the officers leading this, and Hodges saying, "Why would you pay people who attacked the police at the Capitol of the United States who tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power? Why would you pay people who wanted to assassinate the vice president?" With him adding that he and other officers at the Capitol that day have been receiving threats ever since, and adding, "I guarantee you somebody is watching this right now and typing death threats against us," saying this will only continue to embolden and potentially arm a militia that Donald Trump will have on retainer. Right, a huge thing is that no one in Trump's camp's been willing to rule out payments for J6 rioters convicted of violent crimes from that day, even though there were more than 150 officers injured. And of course, I have to mention that Trump pardoned most of the people who were in jail for those crimes, and dozens of them were eventually rearrested for some things like child sex crimes and illegal possession of weapons. And without anything that bars those people from the slush fund money, the lawyer representing the officers in the suit says the defendants must be prohibited from transferring money to this corrupt and illegal monstrosity. That, my friends, you beautiful bastards, is the end of your Thursday.
You know what this reminds me of? Teapot Dome scandal. Hold on, let me look it up. It's not the same thing. It's very, very different. I don't think I supposed to, right? I did not. Yeah, here we go. I always go back to this. It's like my favorite thing. Everybody hydrate. The Teapot Dome scandal was a political corruption scandal in the United States involving the administration of President Warren G. Harding. It centered on Albert B. Fall, the Interior Secretary, who leased petroleum reserves designated for the Navy at Teapot Dome in Wyoming, as well as 2 locations in California, to private oil companies at low rates without competitive bidding. The leases were subject to an investigation by Senator Thomas J. Walsh, convicted of accepting bribes from the oil companies. Fall became the first presidential cabinet member to go to prison, but no one was convicted of paying the bribes. Before the Watergate scandal, Teapot Dome was regarded as the biggest and most sensational scandal in American politics. Girl, that's every day now. In response to the scandal, Congress subsequently passed permanent legislation granting itself subpoena power over tax records for any U.S. citizen, regardless of position. These laws are also considered to have empowered Congress generally. See, isn't it just like it, guys? Doesn't this sound just like Teapot Dome? Sorry. I started skimming. I'm a little zooted. To ensure that the Navy would always have enough fuel, President Taft designated several oil-producing areas as naval oil reserves. In 1921, President Harding issued an executive order to transfer control of Teapot Dome oil fields to Natrona County, Wyoming. And Elk Hills in Buena Vista oil fields in Kern County, California. So in New Jersey, we have a town called Buena, but it's spelled Buena because it is Buena, but it's like... Anyway. From the Navy Department to the Department of Interior, this was not implemented until the next year when Interior Secretary Fall persuaded Naval Secretary Edwin C. Denby to implement the order. Later in 1922, this is also before the Great Depression, post-World War I, pre-World War II, Fall leased oil production rights to the Teapot Dome to Harry F. Sinclair of Mammoth Oil, a subsidiary of Sinclair Oil Corporation. He also leased the Elk Hills Reserve to Edward L. Doney of Pan American Petroleum and transport company. Both leases were issued without competitive bidding. Leases without bids were legal under the Mineral Leasing Act. Oh my God, wait a minute. The leasing terms were favorably for the oil companies, and the secret transaction associated with the two deals made Fall a rich man. He received a no-interest loan from Donnie of $100,000 in November of 2021, the equivalent of $1.81 million in 2025. He received other gifts from Donnie and Sinclair totaling about $404,000, the equivalent of $7.29 million in 2025. Guys, it is just like Teapot Dome. While the leases were legal, these transactions were not. Fall attempted to keep them secret, but a sudden improvement in his standard of living raised suspicion. Could you imagine being so, like, I don't know, just your neighbors being like, he's got 2 cars. I think something's going on over there. Just, like, what was that like? Oh, I wish I could have been in the room. I wish. I couldn't even begin to, like, come up with a concept for, like, how somebody went about, like, telling somebody, like, did they call the cops? Like, did they, like, write their local official? Like, how did we find out about this? Did some investigative reporter just, like, happen to stumble on it? Oh my God. He paid up his ranch taxes, for example, which had been as much as 10 years in the past. Oh, he was behind on his mortgage, so he paid it, and the bank was like, that's suspicious. That's even better. They should have kept reading. Oh, wait. It gets better. I just have to keep reading. Carl McGee, who later founded the Albuquerque Tribune, wrote this sudden affluence and also brought it to the attention of the Senate investigation. It was all of the things I said. I swear I didn't pre-read this. Really should just finish the fucking paragraph. Oh my God. It hurts. In April of 1922, a Wyoming oil operator wrote to his senator, John B. Kendrick. A Wikipedia article should not be this fucking funny. Angered that Sinclair had been given a contract that lands in a secret deal. Oh, so it was somebody who contacted their senator. I know my country way too fucking well, man. I fucking love this place. We are so annoying. Did not write. He didn't write back. Kendrick didn't write back. Ghosted him. So bad. Because that's like so hard. Okay. This is like that Vine where the guy chunks the seltzer. He can't even finish that video half the time. Kendrick did not write back to the man, but 2 days later, on April 15th, he introduced a resolution calling for an investigation deal. Okay, I still would have written him back. Dome Republican Senator Robert M. LaFlotilla of Wisconsin led an investigation by the Senate Committee on Public Lands. At first, La Folletta, is that how I say that? Believed Fall was innocent. However, his suspicions were aroused after his own... Wait, after his own office in the Senate office building was ramsacked. It just gets funnier. It's like a comedy of errors. Like, this is kind of how I imagine someone is gonna write now as, like, you can't hear it, but I'm laughing like Snidely Whiplash. It just, I did everything right and they indicted me. Like, stupid criminals. He raided my. I thought you were innocent, then you broke into my office. Democrat Thomas J. Walsh of Montana, the most junior minority member, led a lengthy inquiry. For 2 years, Walsh pushed forward while Fall stepped backwards, covering his tracks as he went. No evidence of wrongdoing was initially uncovered. Oh no! Oh no! It's about to get dumber, isn't it? As the leases were legal enough, but records kept disappearing mysteriously. By 1924, the remaining unanswered questions of how Fall had become so rich so quickly and easily. Harding-era U.S. Attorney General Harry M. Daughtry and others in the Harding administration were implicated by Thomas W. Miller, the alien property custodian, for pressuring him to deposit the funds in the Midland National Bank, where Daughtry's brother Mal's Daughtry served as president. Wait. Oh my god, he put it into his son-in-law's bank account? Or, like, bank that he owned? Did I just... Hold on, I have to read that. I have to read that again. Harding-era U.S. Attorney General Harry M. Daughtry and others in the Harding administration were implicated by Thomas W. Miller, the alien property custodian, for pressuring him to deposit funds in the Midland National Bank, where Daughtry's brother, Mal Daughtry, his brother, served as president. He put the money in his brother's bank? Daughtry served as president when Daughtry refused to investigate the Teapot Dome scandal. On January 17th, wow. It's always a January. 1927, the McGrain v. Daughtry ruling, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a contempt conviction against Mally Daughtry, which was related to the contempt citation which was issued against him in 1924 for his refusal to cooperate with the U.S. Senate committee investigating his brother's failures to prosecute the perpetrators in the Teapot Dome scandal. However, the Supreme Court decision to uphold Mal's contempt conviction would also result in Midland Bank's case against Daughtry passing into history. Money for bribes had gone to Fall's cattle ranch and investments in his business. Finally, investigation was winding down, with Fall apparently innocent. Walsh uncovered a piece of evidence Fall had tried to cover up. Oh my god. I'm so invested. Donnie's $100,000 loan to Fall. This discovery broke open the scandal. Civil and criminal suits related to the scandal continued throughout the 1920s. In 1927, the Supreme Court ruled that the oil leases had been corruptly obtained. The court invalidated the Elks Hill lease in February of 1927 and the Teapot Dome lease in October. Both reserves were returned to the Navy. In 1929, Fall was found guilty of accepting bribes by Donnie. I'm never going to say this dude's right. I'm so sorry. Conversely, in 1930, we're into the Great Depression now. In 1930, Donnie was acquitted of paying bribes to Fall. Further, Donnie's corporation foreclosed on Fall's home in the Rosa Basin in New Mexico because of unpaid loans. And turned out to be that same $100,000 bribe. Sinclair served 6 months in jail on a charge of jury tampering for jury tampering? No, I need more information on that. Tell me, I need to know more about jury. How did he tamper with the jury? Although Fall was to blame for his scandal, Harding's reputation was permanently sullied. Because of his involvement with people associated to it, evidence proving Fall's guilt only arose after Harding's death in 1923. The Teapot Dome oil field was idle for 49 years following the scandal, but went back into production in 1976 after Teapot Dome had earned over $569 million in revenue from the 22 million barrels of oil extracted over the previous 39 years. The Department of Energy in February 2015 sold the oil field for $45 million to New York-based Standard Oil Reserve Corporation. Wow. Wow, guys. We learned today, didn't we? I can't believe what a bunch of goofballs. Where's the puppet history on this one? Oh, man. I'm so glad I got reminded of Teapot Dome.
Philip DeFranco show. Before you leave, let me just say, I love Yo Faces also.
Woo! Should we Minecraft now? Now that I'm good and giggled up? Minecraft or something else? I don't know. Part of me wants to play a different game, but I don't know what. And I don't know what's on the Xbox. But I think it might be game time. I can't believe the guy was like, I'm gonna write my congressman because I'm pissed off about this. They ghosted me. So since there wasn't like email or anything, do you think like how long do you think it took him to find out that that guy like brought up the legislation? Because it would have had to pass through like newspapers. So like how long do you think it would have taken for that video to be like, oh, he got my letter? Does anyone want to see me get aggravated? Because I'm thinking Hydro Thunder. It's really loud. I'm going to warn you guys right now. Hydro Thunder. I can show off my excellent driving boat skills. Better than, it's better than Minecraft, I promise. See, look, I already have all the thingies. Do I have all the boats?
Choose your boat.
Do I have all the boats? Ew. See, that's how good I am at this game. Yes, I have to. Yes, I have to play dress up with my boats.
Choose your track.
Night. I'm gonna do kilometers. I'm not gonna have any idea how fast that is. Oh, there's multiplayer? I think it's local co-op, though.
Choose your track. Choose your track.
What's Gauntlet? Pure test of steel. It's just you, the waves, and the ticking clock. No, I want to fight people. Oh, that's like... Wait, is those like real people? No, there's no way there's nobody actually named Churning Chad. Oh. No. Not what I wanted. Just take me back home. Go to your home. There we go.
Choose your track. Choose your boat.
What the heck? I don't care about the leaderboards.
3, 2, 1.
I don't remember how to play. Okay, that's steer. That's boot. Okay, that's a wall. Oh, that's also a wall. Okay, that's boost. Excellent, excellent. That's backwards. Okay, all right, that's go. What is this one? Is that nothing? Okay. Not camera. All right, so that joystick's used. Oh god. Yeah, I've been liking Minecraft like a bunch, but I think I'm just in too much of a wired mood today. What place am I? I'm in 14th? What the fuck? Oh. I gotta remember how to do this. Oh god, the walls are killing me. Oh, oh god. Oh, oh, I'm upside down. Oh, I'm definitely not finishing anywhere better than this.
Nice drafting.
What lap am I on? 3? Come on. I think this boat is a plane. And I'm not doing so hot. Oh! Yeah, I was talking myself up, and this is what I get. It's hubris. What the Trump campaign will have to deal with. Oh! I hit those balls.
Boost is armed and ready.
Oh! Oh! That's a gear. Oh! No, that's not fair. The arrow moved. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Well, we still have our health. Choose your track. Choose your boat.
I need better handling. Oh, yeah. Oh, how do I get that one? Oh. Alright, well, this one looks cool.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go! Boost activated.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Boost is armed and ready.
I think I need to release on the gas when I go up. That'll help a little bit more. And then as I get closer... Maybe I shouldn't say anything because I'm in 16th place.
Nice drafting. Boost
Oh!
is armed and ready.
Oh! Oh! I try to get the secret. Oh! what I've wanted to play again recently? Tekken or like Street Fighter, like one of the fighting games. I'm like jonesing to play a fighting game. Oh, fuck. If I could trust my internet connection, I'd try Fortnite. Oh! That's the finish line.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure it's something with the boat.
Bro, he's so mean. I need to get a minute 51.
Boost armed and ready.
Oh, I'm not gonna make that. Shoot. Oh! Oh!
We're a go for boost. We can get that with boost jump.
Fuck, fuck,
Boost
fuck.
armed and ready. Nice drafting.
Oh, fuck. Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Boost is a go.
Go, 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 go. No, no, no. Oh, take it down. Oh, I'll take 10.
I think I dropped my wallet.
I think I dropped my wallet.
We've got boost. Let's use it.
I gotta stop trying to go for that one. I'm not gonna make it. And it's just costing me like precious seconds. Maybe it's because I picked the expert boat. This is so hard. I feel like I'm usually a lot better at this. I guess I need to get good, Scrub.
Okay, we're in the draft. Boost arms and ready. Holy cow!
I'm gonna change boats. I'm gonna run in that power line.
Oh, did we finish? Choose your track. Choose your boat.
What's baby easy novice? Oh, why am I looking like this? Why is the camera like this? Oh god. Oh no. How do I change it? How do I get it stopped? Oh god. I'm gonna be sick. Why is this happening? Oh my god, I've never played a game like this before. This first person boat game. Oh god. Why did it switch perspectives? I wonder if Chris is still in here. There's a frozen mammoth.
We're good to go with boost.
Is this what it's like to play VR?
Nice drafting. Okay, we're in the draft.
Ah! This is some serious. This is horrendous. I just wanted to point out the mammoth. I'm in 5th.
What the?
Oh god. I'm almost at the finish line. Ah! Oh god! Oh, I got 4 that was this close! How do I get it out of this mode? What? Oh god.
Yeah, we need to find a boost power.
None of the buttons.
No
Oh, I
boost,
got.
no boost jump.
Oh! Yes, restart the game. That was a terrible run. I wonder if I'll do better or worse in this mode.
Boost is armed and ready.
Oh, I feel way more confident in what I'm doing now. Little tug boat. Oh, fuck. Come on, back on track. That's a rock. Oh, I guess it's an ice chunk, not a rock. An iceberg, then? Too small to be an iceberg. Right? What is an iceberg? What is the definition of an iceberg? Oh god, the mammoth thing! Oh. Come on, not that turn. Oh! I didn't mean to do a sick kickflip, but I'll take it. Hell yeah! Sick kickflip, bro. Huh. Oh my god, this boat. Get out of the way. I'm driving over here. Attempting to. Boating? Piloting? Sailing. No. Is it sailing if there's no sailboat? Motorboating? Boosting? I really wanted that boost.
We got boost. Let's use it. What the?
Oh, I landed on that boat.
Nice drafting. Boost activated.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Ah.
That was awesome.
Alright, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Oh man, that was so close. Oh, the Viking boat. It's like if Leif Erikson was transported in time, was like, oh, I'll get on this action. Yeah. Yay! I won the novice trophy. All right, cool. I feel way better about this now. Let's go. Let's go back to Lake Powell. Let's get in there. Okay, I don't care about the Xbox Live leaderboards. Just let's go.
3, 2, 1, go.
You know, Donald Trump would hate this level. He hates windmills. That's actually probably why these planes are bombing this area, is because it's actually, this is this is a historical retelling of how Donald Trump defeated the windmills.
We're good to go with boost.
Oh, that's a wall. It's still a wall. I'm really hugging it.
Okay, we're in draft.
Oh! Okay, I see like 6 boats ahead of me. We're all in a line. Oh! Bitch, move! God damn it! Guard! Succubus guard through it! like her. Just run into the wall the whole time. Second maybe, second maybe, second maybe, second maybe, second.
Nice driving.
I need first. I'm gonna redo it till I get first. Why do they start me all the way in the back? That doesn't seem very fair. In fact, that seems kind of sexist.
Alright, we're a go for boost.
I mean, how would the game know? But I'm just gonna say it is. A train.
We're good to go with boost. Boost is armed and ready.
Oh! Get on your stomach! Shit! Fuck.
Nice drafting. Boost activated.
Oh! Ah!
Oh, this is insane!
This police car boat! Fuck the police! Hate cab! Even in video games! Oh, damn it, son of a bitch! Oh, I'm in third. This is where I lose it too, watch.
Boost activated. I do not like the looks of this.
Fuck! Fuck!
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
Cool.
was amazing.
Alright, now we get to some of the other fun tracks.
Choose your track. Choose your boat. Vector.
Vector! Oh my god, like the movie. It was Despicable Me.
2, 1, go.
Oh, this one has plesiosaur. No. Lepleurodons. Where are my opponents? Mosasaurs, not Lepleurodons. Oh, and it's got the giant, dragonflies from the Cambrian period. I think it's Cambrian.
We're good to go with boost.
15th? Oh! Oh, now I see why. Well, when I put it like that. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy right in the butt.
Boost is a go. Nice drafting.
Oh! Oh, fuck! I forgot the course changed. This one does laps, but the course changes each lap.
Boost is ready.
Oh!
Boost is armed and
Boat on boat violence. Oh! 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 Oh!
Boost is armed and ready.
Oh! That's a wall! Oh, that was a wall. Okay, so... Oh, we're going through the center now. Oh!
Boost is armed and ready.
Alright, don't fuck this up, Charlie. You can at least get fourth.
Alright, give me the keys.
Alright, now we know the layout of the course again. Yeah, see? It's quick, but he's there.
Let's find a boost power up and try that again.
Oh!
Boost activated. Okay, we're in the draft.
Oh, that's a wall.
Boost is a go. We're a go for boost.
Oh, come on, dude. No, no. Come on. Oh, fuck. It'd have to be a fucking miracle if I got first. Damn.
I drink, and I know things.
Thanks, Dorothy.
Doodle would like you to drink something.
6 seconds. I'm locking in.
Yeah, we need to find a boost power up before that'll work. Boost is a go. Nice drafting.
Oh, fuck. Fuck. I see a secret passageway, but I'm not gonna fucking take it right now. I am too fucking locked in to change direction. Hi, Kenny.
We're a go for boost.
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
Alright, we're a go for boost.
Nope. Oh! Can she come back from 6th place and take first on the final lap? Probably not. Not with that fucking mosasaur. Fucking my plans up.
Boost armed and ready. Holy cow.
seconds. No. That's how, wait, that's how I jump? Wait from the wall.
Boost activated. Boost is a go.
Not straight enough. Fuck! I can already tell. I think I'm gonna get like 5th.
Nice drafting.
Especially because I forgot which way to go.
Boost activated.
I'm out of that tunnel too hard.
Alright, let's hit that boost. Boost activated.
I'm not, yeah. There's no way I'm even getting 2nd.
We've got boost. Let's use it. Yeah, without boost, we can't jump.
Okay, you jump with some boost. Got it. Roger.
We're a go for boost.
Why does that keep happening? I am recovered.
Boost is a go. We're good to go with boost. Boost armed and ready.
Fuck. Nth on the second lap.
We've got boost. Let's use it. Boost is armed and ready.
Oh, there's a wall. Fuck.
We've got boost. Boost activated.
Oh, I see him. Come on, Charlie, don't fuck this up. I fucked this up. I fucked this up so hard.
Nice work.
Damn it. Getting late.
We're gonna have to pick up a boost power up. Boost is a go.
Fuck you, dude.
Boost armed and ready. Okay, we're in the draft.
Not gonna go up that fucking ramp anymore.
We're
Oh.
Boost activated.
Fuck. Ah. My finger hurts.
Boost activated.
Don't see anybody.
Boost is a go.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Sorry for that.
Armed and ready. Boost is armed and ready. This is crazy. Boost is armed and ready. Running low on boost. Nice work.
I'm going to another map. I'm going to take a few seconds and go to another map. Oh, I was like 40 milliseconds. Okay, maybe I'm not going to another map. Shake it out.
Choose your
Oh.
track. Choose your boat. Vector.
Vector. New map, fresh map. Yeah, you're right. I need new eyes.
We need to pick up a boost power up. Boost is armed and ready. Nice drafting. You turned on the wave machine. Nice drafting. Boost getting low. We've got boost. We're almost out of boost. Boost is a go.
First try.
Choose your track.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Choose your boat. Vector.
This calls for a bean. A bean?
Most of you came here for one thing.
Dorfidoodle would like you to eat the bean.
It's time for Dorothy's favorite thing. It's bean time. Let me get, hold on. I got to put up a poll or a prediction. Is it going to be a good bean or is it going to be a bad bean? Where's the buttons? Volume off. Screen manager. Maybe later. Predictions? No. Your prediction. Start prediction. Good bean or bad? Bad. You guys get a minute on the clock down in the channel point section. Ready, go. All right. A bean. Oh, you gotta open the lid. Okay, you have two choices, Dorothy. Would you like the yellow one or the blue one? The yellow one is either wet dog or top banana, whatever the fuck that means. And the blue one is either toothpaste or berry blue. I feel like the nice answer would be the blue one. Bad bean? We're thinking it's a bad bean, guys? Oh, my face. All right. What color bean, Dorothy? Wet dog or top banana? Fuck. You're mean. Wait. Yeah, those are the flavors. Hold on. The blue is... Okay. Think we go... Yellow? Oh, it is. All right. Bean. Banana! It's a good bean! It's a good bean! It's not even like bad imitation banana. Hell yeah. Take that, Dorothy. For making me eat a bean. It was a good bean. Nobody thought this would happen. No, wait. No, hold on. Stop.
Boost activated.
I honestly don't even know where I'm going or headed. I have just hit the go button.
Okay, we're in the draft. Boost is armed and ready.
Is this gonna be laps or is this a one course? We've had like 2 lap ones in a row. Oh!
Alright, we're a go for boost. This is crazy.
Actually, this is the same mechanic from the last race. I got 5th. That's not bad for first time.
That won't work until we pick up a boost power up. Boost is armed and ready. The gate is open.
Oh!
Nice drafting.
You saying drafting or drifting?
Oh, this is gonna hurt. Boost is ready. Okay, we're in the draft.
Wait, where am I supposed to go?
Boost armed and ready. This is crazy.
Crazy. Oh!
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, that's great.
Alright.
I hear the cruise ships are high.
Last try. And then I'm done for the night. I hit next.
Choose your track.
I might as well do Paris.
Choose your boat. Damn the torpedoes.
Jeez.
Alert. Unauthorized personnel in Sector G-17.
Wow, this one has a lot going on with it that is too loud. Oh!
Alright, we're a go for boost.
I have given up. I'm done. I'm done. Alright. Alright, everybody. I am cooked for the night. Do not leave this chat, or I swear to God I'll turn this chat around. We're gonna raid out. I don't know who we're raiding out into, and I want to see who's on. I know Daisy's not on. I don't think Tim's on tonight. I think he would have already... No, is he on tonight? Yeah. But, okay, so, updates. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend in the United States, so I will be taking Sunday and Monday off from streaming. Have a little vacation with my family at home. I'll still be around on the Discord and stuff like that. I just won't be streaming because I will be at various parties and things like that. So,
We're from Jersey, baby.
we are. I love being from Jersey. The best state in this union.
And you're not.
The best country in this state, in this country. Right. Otto's on. Oh, Kenny's on. Kenny is playing Subnautica 2. We're going to raid into Kenny. All right, everybody. You guys have a safe and wonderful weekend. Please be safe over the holiday weekend. I will be back. He's not playing Subnautica 2 at all. At least I didn't realize Subnautica 2 had guns. Anyway, I will be back Tuesday. I can't wait to see you guys again. So don't leave. Join the raid. I see there's 5 of you in there. I'll see you soon.